it's taken the masculine so long to come into union. So we're going to tap into the energy of the masculine runner, whether it's a female masculine or a male masculine. We're going to tap into it. It's taken them so long to come into union. Okay, so we have that they need to pay attention. So they're not paying attention, all right? They're not looking close into their situation. They're not taking the time to, excuse me, not taking the time to dig deep or study what's really going on in their connection. Okay, so they need to really look into who they really are. Okay, so that's what's taking them so long to come in. Is the fact of them not doing enough research, like as the feminine would. The feminine would study the symptoms and signs and want to find out what's really going on. But the masculine is not. The masculine is not doing that. Okay, he's not looking. He doesn't really care. You can tell him a million times that he's a twin flame. He's a soulmate. He's a life partner. He's the one. But in his mind, in the physical mind, the masculine's already had his mind made up. Okay? So it doesn't have anything to do with the spirit. The spirit's going to always come back where it belongs. But this is the body. Okay? So the masculine does not want to do the research. You can put the information right in front of him. But if he doesn't have the motivation to pick it up and read it or tap into the energies and follow it, then it's because of that. Okay? So some of them just child-minded, okay, distracted by their childhood. You know, some of them do have children, and they just feel like, you know, they have better things. Like some of them just don't want to break their home up, okay. Some of them have baby mothers where they have children with, and they don't want to deal with the extra drama because they already made a promise, okay, to someone else according to them, but they don't realize that this is why it's important to do their research, because then they would realize they made a promise with you first, okay? But some of the masculines just have families they don't want to break. Some of the masculines have bonds and baggage and children out there that they have to, according to them, complete that mission, okay? But also, some of them are just childish and immature themselves. They still have that childhood wound they must heal from, okay? And some of them just don't want to do that, okay? So they don't want to look or heal their childhood wounds. They don't want to, face the fact that they still have that childhood wounds to heal. Like some of them have grown up in toxic homes, and some of them might have grew up in, because toxicity is not always just about drama. People could have wealthy families too, and the wealthy family might spoil the masculine, where the masculine pretty much got somebody taking care of him all his life and didn't face the facts of maturity, okay? So regardless of how it is, the masculine still has that childhood wound to heal. Needs some time to grow up, okay? Needs to grow up, okay? Is not trying to seek that kind of information. Some real men just, decides that they're gonna, grow and be better than what they are, okay, by choice. But these masculines that's choosing to run are using other guidelines to distract them, okay, distract them from their purpose. And it's pretty much because they're not used to, responsibility the way that they should be. The first responsibility is soul responsibility, soul contract that you created when you got here, okay? But the master doesn't want to, he don't want to do that. He don't want to, That's too much work for the masculine. To according to the masculine, it's just too much work. Let's see what else. So you do have the masculine, just, you know, like I said, could be committed to a feminine, okay, or too immature to handle that kind of relationship. Because if they are in a relationship with someone, okay, it's mostly out of lust. If you can see this feminine here, she's got one titty out, okay. She's more of a lustful feminine. Well, I'm ready, feminine in heat, okay. So it's like the masculine is, you know, rather preferred to play around with feminines, alright, sexual females, like females that, according to him, will meet him on his own physical level, not his spiritual level. So he is definitely running from his spiritual maturity just to play with women who are not on that level, okay? They're more lustful. They want to play around with women. It's almost like they went from the playground to the bed without, you know, without responsibility, and then when they're out there creating children, getting married to women who's only met them on that physical, because physical, you know, the physical body can fade as you get older, okay. Once the masculine starts to get older, he starts to look in the mirror, he starts to see that he's getting older. He starts to realize like he's missing a part of his life, but he doesn't realize he's lived that part of his life. It's that he needs to let it go, okay. So these masculines, okay, that's pulling through here, they just love lustful women, okay. They love sexual women who, you know, love to take their clothes off. They love women that love to fulfill that masculine's fantasy. Like, he loves watching porn, and he likes watching, you know, women on social media expose themselves. Because, you know, this is why a lot of these masculines have trust issues, because they're like, wow, I could never see my girl, you know, my lady on there. But then again, I would rather not be in a relationship, because I don't want to face that part of the world. I don't want to face that if this feminine does not comply to my rules and regulations, they would abandon immediately, okay? They would abandon this feminine immediately. So once this lustful demonic entity stop loving, okay, him, or fulfilling at least his desires when it comes to submitting to his desires, she will leave, okay? She will leave, or he will leave her, okay? So, like I said, the masculine did not want to do the research on spirituality. He chose to live according to his physical man, his body. He wanted to be a mere man and claimed to be a god, claimed to be superior, but not willing to be superior masculine. You must accept that part of yourself, which is that godly like part of yourself, that most high part of yourself that wants what it wants, so that you can be who you need to be in this lifetime. And it takes responsibility to step up and say, the universe giving me one feminine, and one feminine is what I shall live by. It's hard to find a masculine that would really do that, okay. You got some that deal with karmic energies, who, like I said, created children with, got married to, where they feel like they have, you know, they're not ready yet to leave that situation behind, because they don't really know how to. They can't just up and leave. But, you know, due to their, you know, their lack of maturity and then their lack of strength, okay, they go for lustful women, okay, because they run from the divine, but they run to because they could be lustful divines, okay, you could be a lustful divine too, which makes the masculine not know the difference. And this is why it's important for feminists out there to stand in your power, so that masculine can see the difference between you and a lustful karmic, okay. If he cannot identify you again in the physical, according to your truth, you have to live it. You have to live a divine feminine. You can't live a divine feminine exposing herself like a karmic and then expect the masculine to see you different than a karmic, okay? So the masculine does love lustful, sexual women. Women who exposes themselves. Will he be with them? No, not forever. He would just play with them because they put themselves out there and eventually abandon them, okay? So let's see what else is going on. Yeah, like I said, so you got them moving forward. Like I said, they will abandon these lustful women regardless, because at the end of the day, once the masculine needs are met, whether it's sexual, whether it's about money or something, he's going to abandon and move forward. Okay, if he's, you know, if he's dealing with somebody that he's committed to, most likely they would still move on by cheating. Okay, but he would abandon the feminine energy. Well, at least this feminine energy, because this energy is not something he could see wifing up long term, because how they say, masculines believe in how you win them is how you're gonna lose them. Okay, how you win them is how you're gonna lose them. So once that masculine is done, playing around with this lustful female, he will journey forward to another. Okay, like I said, he's still childish, still immature. He wants to play around, and this is what's holding the masculine up from ascending to his higher level of understanding, overstanding, and understanding his life purpose. Okay, just children and lustful women and marriages, like, that's not divine in the way of his purpose. If he is one of those who are on that path, if he is not one of those that's on the path, it is that he is immature, have children, and are abandoning them, and abandoning his feminines. Okay, not divine feminines, his lustful feminines, those demonic feminines who only satisfy their desires, are in the way. Okay, these lustful women are in the way. So he will journey forward. So let's see where he. Okay, yeah. So he's gonna leave the home. All right, he's gonna eventually run from that commitment. Okay, if he happened to run into you, feminines, and he has a wife and child, or he has a wife, or he has some kind of commitment on the other side, but he ended up, running into you. Okay. He will be, the universe will expose the masculine. He will leave the home. Okay, he will leave the home, and he don't even know why. Okay, he won't even know why he left the home. He just know that he's moving towards something better in his life. Okay, because he wants better. He wants to gain stability. He wants to be in control. So if he's not in control in his lifestyle that he's living, he's going to move to another situation. And this is where you get two baby mothers or two wives. Divorce one and move on to the next. And this is where, the lack of knowledge comes in with the masculine, because he feels the need to balance out the both. Well, why can't I have two? Okay. So he will journey forward and start to, drift home. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he would eventually just naturally flow back to union, and he won't even have a clue. There would be something on his mind, someone on his mind that he cannot get rid of. If he doesn't know a face, he can feel the frequency. Okay? He doesn't always have to know what the person looked like. He can just feel you. If he doesn't know who you are already. If he knows who you are already, he most likely will try to come back home. So we got some of them will come, bearing gifts. Okay? Like I said, if they're dealing with these lustful women, and they eventually decide that they had enough and they move on, some of them will come back. They believe that they are a gift. Some of them tend to run back to old flings, okay? Run back to old situations, all right? When that karmic energy does arise, crying and, oh, come back, some of the masculine just go back. But when they leave the home, when they leave the situations, when they leave the karmic, they have to start their journey. They have to start their journey. Okay, but they will come bearing gifts. Alright, they just love giving themselves away as if somebody, as if they are deserving or rewarding or something like that. Hold on a second. Okay, so masculine feels like masculine feels like somebody owe him something. Okay, he's moving forward because he wants to, be rewarded. Okay, he wants to be spoiled. He wants to tap back into that childhood frequency where he's getting his diaper changed and getting spoon fed. Okay, so he's leaving to go find a home where he can be treated like a child. Some will try, some really want to have their own, okay? But they also gonna want that feminine energy somewhere. They're gonna always, it's not like they're gonna go and get them a house and not have a feminine energy in there. If they're really over this karmic energy and that lustful energy of feminines out there, they're still gonna, for some reason, fall back into that trap. But this masculine, they just want to be rewarded. They want to be spoiled, okay? So let's see what else. We have a message here. So divine masculines get the messages all the time. Some of them will message you. But divine masculine do get their messages from spirit, okay? They do. But like I said, they are too immature and childish to decipher, the message, because it's a hidden message to them. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to, like I told you, they don't want to study. They divine will tell them, masculine, let's go. It's time to move forward. It's time to do this, do that. The masculine will get the nudge, get the hunch, but they won't understand it. Some of them won't understand where the message is coming from. Why does the divine want them to leave, their homes? Why does the divine want them to leave the karmics? Why does the divine want them to go to this woman instead? Why does the divine chose this woman? So instead of them saying to themselves, hey, let me go find out why they chose the feminine for me, they just rather take the longer route. The longer route is committing to a karmic energy. Okay, they committing to the lustful feminines out there. They are getting the message from spirit day in and day out to return home to oneness, and they don't want to do the work, or they don't want to take initiative steps to do so. So it's almost the universe has to manipulate their reality, where the divine feminines come, or divine feminine energies come out of nowhere. Just so happen to pass them, so happen to run into them, so happen to meet them in some way, shape, or form, which will shake their reality that they was not ready to leave, which they were told to leave. Okay, so it's not your fault if you run into a masculine and they're with karmic or karmic energy. It is not your fault. It is them who needs to accept their reality. Yeah, see, you got love. Okay, the universe is telling the masculine, like, hey, there's another feminine out there. To hop off that lustful wave. The divine masculine is being told, okay, so he believes that he's in love with this karmic, and this is why it's hard for some of them to leave this relationship. But the universe is telling the masculine, there's love out there. There's another one out there for you. There's another feminine out there for you. Okay? There's another feminine out there for you to be with. For you to lust over. For you to love over. That you can have all your desires met, even on a spiritual level. There's someone else out there. There is true love out there. Masculine thinks he found true love, and some of them, like if it's hard for them to leave their relationships, and they decide to stay with the karmics, and they're going back to the karmics, or they're finding the karmics. Some just have karmics already, but they don't want to let that chain go. Some just move on to new karmics because they can't handle the frequency of the divine. Okay? So yes, the masculine does get his messages from spirit every day about who he truly is supposed to be with. Every day, all day. They tell him about if they expose his immaturity, and they expose his childhood, they expose his lack of his manhood, because at the end of the day, all these temptations out there is just exposing the masculine for his lack of maturity, his lack of strength, his lack of desire, like his willpower. He's being tested every day. The spirit is telling him love is there for you. It's here. But it's not with that person. Okay, we got a couple cards here. So we're going to go backwards. Okay, so you got denial. Okay, so he's denying true love. Okay, he's definitely denying his true love. Every time spirit tells him, hey, you're living a lie. Like I said, you're living a lie with this karmic energy. It's holding you up. You're not getting any younger. We want you to be fresh. We want you to be mature. We want you to be ready, prepared for your feminine energy that's coming in. So they're living in denial. Like I told you, they believe that they love this karmic energy, but that's not the case, okay? So they're telling spirit is telling the masculine it's time to move forward. It's time to go. So we do have strength. Okay? You do have the strength. So the masculine is weak. Okay? Spirit is saying you pretending that you are a strong person, but you are weak, masculine. You are weak. Because universe shouldn't have never had to, alter your reality to get you. Spirit should have never had to, and I'm going to move this down because they gave me one more card. Spirit should have never had to push you to where you belong. Okay? So you got belonging. Belonging to his purpose. Okay? Spirit should have never had to push this masculine that far. The masculine should have answered the call in the beginning, and he probably wouldn't have had this much stress in his life. But see, he wants to have his cake and eat it too, where he doesn't want to cherish his feminine. He wants to be the opportunist to jump from feminine to feminine. Okay? So he's definitely living in denial when it comes to how he truly feels. When it comes to his love life, he's lying about his true feelings. He can't control his true feelings. See, the masculine, okay, is living in his own reality, the one that he created for himself. And spirit is pretty much saying, no, you're living a lie. This woman that you're with is not divine. It was never chosen. And they'll make up this excuse like, I had to learn this way, I had to. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, spirit is saying. You're denying your faith. You're denying your truth. And this is where the masculine goes wrong, because he's denying his true purpose. And this is what's taking the masculine so long to come back, because he's rather play with karmic energies or a karmic energy, but universe is going to push him out of that. Something's going to happen where, if he doesn't listen, most likely he will lose every single time. They will break up, and there's a possibility they will try to fight for this false reality. But when the true reality kick in, they will have to let it go. Because the universe is going to pull them apart. Okay? Masculine believes that he is a gift. But yet he doesn't believe that feminine can be gifted to him. Like once he meet his feminine energy, ooh, it's like he just don't want. He just, oh no, I'm in the lead. I'm in the power. Get out of here. Because they love being in power. They love manipulating the karmic. They love, making this, like, controlling this karmic. And that's when the masculine go wrong. You're not allowed to control anything. You're only allowed to flow. And if you don't twine, you can't mix oil and water together. And that's what karmic and masculine is, oil and water. And masculine thinks that the divine feminine is oil and water. You see what I'm saying? He would reflect his fears towards his feminine. And he would say the most harshest things to his feminine and do the most harshest things to his feminine. But he is exposing himself, his fears. He knows he don't belong in this karmic situation. He doesn't have enough strength. And that's why he's not in union with the correct feminine. He doesn't know who he is. He's not going to do the research. He's not going to look into it. He's going to live in denial. And he's going to move from female to female, or vice versa. The woman may move male to male in order to please the ego. In order to please that alter ego, what real love looked like and what strength looked like. Okay? So that is what's keeping the masculine from coming into union. The masculine does not have enough willpower, enough self-love, enough strength, living in denial, falling for false love, and it's just lust, and not accepting the messages from the divine. If this masculine was accepting his fate, all of this would be reversed. So if this resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't, leave it. If you'd like to book a personal reading and find out what's going on with your masculine or yourself or your union, you can. Just check the description box below for more information. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe.